This week's declaration is, I'm storing up treasure in heaven. Now, this isn't one that appears in a book yet, but it's a declaration that I've really needed to hold on to recently, so I wanted to share it with you guys. When Dom and I first got married, we lived in South Africa for a bit, and while we were over there, I thought long and hard about getting a blender. And finally, just before we left, Dom, for my birthday, got me a NutriBullet Pro. Super blender, high power, so I could make all of these smoothies. I was really into making really healthy smoothies while we were over there. And I loved it. I had honestly looked online, secondhand, new, every variety, researched it heavily. So when I got it, I was so excited. Used it a couple of times, and then it was time for us to go home for what we thought was just a short visit, and then we were going to be coming back to South Africa. And when we were actually over in England over Christmas, was when the idea for I'm So Many Things was birthed. And we realised it was going to be better for us to be based in London while we set it up, rather than back in South Africa. And so we did that, and we have still to this day not yet been back to Cape Town, where we thought life was growing there. We have a whole bunch of stuff. I had my brand new NutriBullet. We have a whole bunch of clothes. We had wetsuits, surfboards, all of that stuff over there, which is still waiting. So a friend was coming over from South Africa recently. I said, is there any chance you could bring my NutriBullet with you? I've thought about this many times in the last couple of years since we've not been back. I'm like, oh, I wonder how I can get the NutriBullet back. And she said, Thea, I'm so sorry. I haven't told you this yet, but we actually had a rat infestation in the garage where your things were being stored, and they've chewed right through the wires. It's totally broken. We've had to chuck it out. I thought, oh my goodness. Amazingly, I was able to laugh at myself in that moment, because I realised I had invested so much time, thought, love and attention into this blooming NutriBullet, only for it to be eaten by rats. I probably should have given it away when we realised we weren't coming back immediately. But instead, I held on to it, my treasure, my precious NutriBullet. And what a waste of time. I mean, it has brought Matthew 7 to life hugely. Matthew 7:19. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin, like rats, destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I was really convicted in that moment of, goodness me, I had placed a lot of heart into that NutriBullet, only for it to be taken away in an instant. And recently a friend adopted 2 rescue kittens, and they just found out this week that they've got this skin condition which is highly contagious, and they've had to quarantine the kittens in the kitchen. They've had to get rid of all of their bedding, pillows, blankets, soft furnishings, and try and decontaminate the house. They are living in the sitting room of takeaways while the kittens have to be quarantined for 6 weeks in their kitchen. And my friend is a total trooper. She says, yeah, I've been to the dump, getting rid of all of this stuff. You know, it's actually quite cathartic, da da da. I was so struck. She was so positive and light-hearted about it. And, you know, that's no small feat. On top of that, she's got raging flu. So she is not well and having to go through a rigorous decontamination process every day to try and keep these guys well. And, you know, we're in the process of furnishing a house at the moment. So I know that it's expensive to pick up blankets, cushions, all of this stuff. So to see her attitude as she had to get rid of it in a day and see how lightly she was holding it in her heart, it wasn't rocking her heart and rocking her spirit, really, really inspired and challenged me. I said, goodness me, that's what it looks like to not be storing your treasure on earth, where weird skin conditions and rats can destroy, but to be storing up your treasure in heaven, knowing that actually where our security is in heaven, in stuff that cannot be shaken, cannot be taken away. And what a beautiful place to get to. That's when we can get free. It's not that God doesn't like stuff. It's not that he doesn't want us to have stuff. It's not that he wants us to live as paupers, but he wants us to live free from stuff, knowing that the stuff that he blesses us with isn't our security, isn't our hope, isn't our treasure. He is our treasure. His favour, His blessing on our lives is constant, whether or not our stuff has to go to the dump or is filling up our house. So I bless you with that today, just to take a rain check on your heart. What are you holding on to? Like me and my NutriBullet. Is there anything that you are placing safety and worth in that actually could be stolen or eaten in seconds? And would that rock you? Or are you rooted in heaven, that whatever happens to your earthly stuff isn't actually going to shake your foundation?